2 more shows from Las Vegas. We are still going strong on Monday as the Bears fans get out of town today. Hoge Jahns with you. We've got some fans here. We are live at Mandalay Bay. Show starts right now. What's up? Welcome in live from Mandalay Bay, inside the heart of Las Vegas still. We got the stadium behind us. The Bears got the win, and we still got fans here with us. Appreciate you guys coming out this morning. It's been a lot of fun. What's up, Johnsy?
Well, we got a culture win to talk about here from the Chicago Bears. You see Ben Johnson's post game?
Yes. Yeah.
Good, better, best was back again.
Yep.
He's going to do that every single win.
Okay.
For as many they get, but culture win, he called it.
Did you see Pat Norton's headline?
Character win.
Did you see Pat Norton's headline on his newsletter this morning?
No.
CSU, good, better, blocked.
Oh.
Pretty good stuff.
Clever.
Yeah.
Clever.
Do I sound better now? We were off the top. I know I was a little quiet, but we should be good. Appreciate everybody watching live on YouTube. We have fans that here this morning. I know a lot of people are getting out of town. We still have Hoge Jahns this morning. As soon as we're done here, we got CHGO Bears. Lance Briggs is going to be with us for that one. So, but we still got a lot to talk about. That was, it seemed like, I agree with the idea that it's a culture win. I mean, because look, it wasn't pretty. I know a lot of fans yesterday were just like relieved that they somehow survived, and it didn't necessarily feel like a game they deserved to win at times. But all 3 phases, they came up with plays when they needed to be made.
What I would disagree with is the idea that they were lucky. I understand some fortunate things did bounce their way with the Bears, but like lucky is hitting the upright twice and bouncing out. Like lucky is falling short on a field goal attempt from the opposition. This was not lucky. This was a blocked field goal where Scott Daly in their weekly preparation saw something in the Raiders' long snapper snap, and they got to tell, they got to read. This was something they practiced. This was something they believed they could do. This is something then they did in the most pinnacle of moments in this game.
Well, that's what I mean. I mean, that was just an incredibly well executed block. I mean, even before, and you did a great job reporting that yesterday with the information that Scott Daly gave, who of course isn't even on the field, right? On a field goal block. He's the long snapper for the Bears, but he's studying the other long snapper, comes up with that tell. They get it communicated, and now that it helps explain the great get off from Josh Blackwell because he basically jumped the snap. But beyond that, I mean, that's so hard to do off the edge. They're basically leaving him unblocked because he's so far outside that in the NFL, a snap, a hold, and a kick, the ball's usually gone by then. And he got that thing pretty clean.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a good play.
So in the locker room after the game, players hadn't seen the replay yet. You know, they go through the breakdown speech from Ben Johnson. The game balls are handed out. Who got it? Kevin Byard got one. Carlos Santos got one. And Josh Blackwell got one. Kevin Warren celebrates the 800th win for the team, for the entire franchise. But they hadn't seen the play yet. So I'm literally in the locker room showing Josh Blackwell the play.
For the
first time. Tyreek Stevenson comes over behind me. He goes, I got to see this too. He said something else, but he's got to see this too. Noah Sewell, he saw it as well. They were just amazed, so impressed by how much he laid out for that football. Like went out for it completely. Did you see some of the photographs afterwards of that play?
I've not. No, not the still photos.
Yeah, still photos.
No.
So you have Blackwell like this, but then you also have Noah Sewell, who looks like he's 10 feet up in the air. They have Jervon Dexter also creating pressure through the middle there. They were going for it.
Well, honestly, from where we were sitting in the stands, we're in the 300 level. We had a pretty good overview of the everything developing throughout the. I couldn't tell though live when we saw it get blocked. I couldn't tell who got it though at first.
Yeah.
Because I thought there was a chance we saw Noah Sewell get up there too. I thought maybe he got it. And then obviously on the replay, it was very clear.
Well, for a lot of those, you think it's the guy diving at the ball, but no, it's the defensive lineman with the long arms getting that extra pressure, getting the right angle right off his fingers. But it was Blackwell, his right hand.
Yeah, and right before that, the defense gets a stop. It seemed like they were going to be able to get a first down and sort of bleed that clock down and get closer and have an easier field goal. Defense came up, and that was after Caleb Williams and the offense got them down there and scored that touchdown on a run play, by the way. So we'll get into our likes and dislikes, and there's plenty of things to dislike from this game. Don't get me wrong, but I do think it's completely fair by Ben Johnson to talk about this in terms of their culture, because this is the type of game, and I think the fans that are here, you guys all probably felt this in the stands yesterday. We know how that game usually ends, right? And it's like, it's just it's
a Hail Mary caught in the back of the end zone.
That's a game that the Bears usually lose. So for them to be able to be the team that pulls it out, like whatever it took, but they did it. They did it. And I think that is a testament of the culture turning here. Now it's still early in the season. They're still 2-2. They got a lot to fix and definitely need to get healthy over the bye. But I do think it is fair that even in a short sample size through 4 weeks, you can say, hey, look, this was an 0-2 team. And you know what? Even when we got done last night and the Packers are playing the Cowboys, that Cowboys win looks better all of a sudden. Because, I know that was a weird tie, 40-40 last night, but, it added some validity to, I think, what the Bears did against the Cowboys a week ago.
You can call it a culture win. You could call it a character win when all three phases literally contribute to it in the final minutes. We have the touchdown run by DeAndre Swift that capped the 11-play, 69-yard drive for the offense in the final 5 minutes, ate up 5 minutes. So an impressive drive right there by the offense. Yes, you don't get the 2-point conversion. Yes, you give up a long kickoff return, but the defense, which was getting gashed all day by Ashton Genty, run all over. They get a stop on 3rd and short for a 1-yard loss. Kevin Byard had 2 interceptions, but he gets the tackle for loss on that play to set up the long field goal attempt. Even Caleb Williams said it himself. That changes the trajectory. Yeah. That's everything. They have to get, what your special teams coach, you know what I'm talking about. So special teams take the field. They have the tell. They have the read, all their game prep. They have that belief, and Josh Blackwell delivers.
Well, it sounds so simple, but that is incredibly important on a field goal.
Yes.
It's easy to take field goals off. Like, we see it all the time. You see it on extra points. The only way to block a field goal is to really want to block the field goal.
Yeah.
It sounds so simple, but if you don't want to get off the ball as fast as you can, go as fast as you can, and lay out the way that Josh Blackwell did, by the way, with technique, because if you do that the wrong way, you're roughing the kicker, you're roughing the snapper, or
playing the ball,
snapper, the holder, I mean. And so it was just really well executed across the board. So I just there's a lot to get to on what still needs to be fixed on this team and what can still be better. But, I do think it's important that they were able to grind out a victory here. And no matter how it took, you had to go back home 2-2 instead of 1-3.
It was a grimy game.
Yeah.
You're down to playing Theo Bennett at your left tackle.
Yeah.
Ozzie Trapillo at right tackle. Braxton Jones gets benched. You're missing TJ Edwards. You're missing Kyler Gordon. You're missing Jalen Johnson. You're missing Colston Loveland. This was a grimy win by the Bears. I thought the Raiders were definitely the inferior team. I think you saw some of that. I don't think Geno Smith really has that top 10, 15 quarterback in him left anymore. I think you saw some of that. But they're still on the road. You still had some Raiders fans there. I think the Bears fans were louder by the end of the game. Yep. I think they were louder on 3rd down. Yep. But they still had their own fans here. Max Crosby, that was a bat out of hell. For the first half, he was unstoppable. And that was, he created momentum for his entire defense, for his entire team. It felt like for 2 full quarters in the first half.
Absolutely. So, should we just jump into our likes and dislikes off actually, before we do that, tell everyone what you wrote about and what people should find at allchgo.com, and just any other nuggets from the locker room that you want to share off the top.
So, we went through the field goal block pretty well. Scott Daly, if you want some quotes from him, if you want to hear what he saw on tape, that's in my story right now in allchgo. But I think the other part of this is the film study that the secondary did on Geno Smith. Kevin Byard was telling me yesterday in the locker room how much he essentially baited Geno Smith into those throws over the middle, where he thought He wanted Geno Smith to think that he was taking the vertical route, but he was really eyeing that dig over the middle, and he sat on those, like waiting for him to throw those. So there were similar route concepts, and he was waiting for Geno Smith to go through the process the way that he wanted. Look at the vertical, throw the dig. And he was playing the vertical, or that's what he wanted Geno Smith to think. So I thought that was just another example of some of the excellent coaching the Bears are getting right now.
So we played it on the pregame show yesterday. I talked to Matt Giordano, who's the assistant DB's coach and works with the safeties. And, the reality is Kevin Byard had a bad game in Detroit a couple weeks ago. It was one of his rougher games, probably in his entire career, but he's had a great career. And, Matt Giordano was just really complimenting Kevin Byard for the approach. He's a captain. He's a leader on this team, and it's possible his best, although it doesn't look like it based on yesterday, but maybe his best football's behind him in his career. You can make that argument with a guy.
He's flying around. Doesn't look like it right now.
That's what I was going to say. So Matt Giordano just complimented Kevin Byard for the way he came back to work last week. The way he kind of took command of the secondary too as a leader, and he played a lot better against the Cowboys, and then even better yesterday against the Raiders. I mean, he was one of the best players on the field yesterday.
To me, you want your safeties to set a tone by coming up hard, filling alleys, and really laying that extra contact on ball carriers at the very end. Like he's doing that 2 weeks in a row. He's one of the most physical Bears right now on that defense. Just the way he's flying around, the way he wants to set that tone, and then obviously with the film work, getting those 2 interceptions. And of course, like even Ben Johnson himself, the 2 interceptions stand out to me, but to make that tackle for loss on 3rd down to set up that long field goal, I mean, that's a key moment for a key player to make a play like that. And
that's why I keep coming back to, I mean, just really all 3 phases and the coaching. I mean, Ben Johnson played the timeouts well at the end of the game. I don't know that every coach would have called timeout on 3rd down, but he did, and it turned out that even if they make that field goal, there still would have been time left on the clock. So I think you talk about all phases of the game and the coaching. They really came through in a game that they probably didn't deserve to win, but they did.
They played good enough to win, but bad enough to lose. And there was a second there. I think everybody thought they were going to lose, and Josh Blackwell saved the day.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we need to get to some of our likes and dislikes, but I know we got to take our first time out as well. Do we have our voicemails as well? Do you know? Yeah, we'll find out if we have voicemails ready to go. I think we do. Should we play them now? I think we should play those now here off the top, and then we'll take our break and get to our likes and dislikes. So these got to be fun. I can't imagine we felt the emotions in the stadium throughout that game, but I can't imagine the people watching back home and calling in, maybe even a voicemail or 2 from the stadium. I'm sure Bob was there.
Bob's everywhere.
Yeah, Bob is everywhere. All right, your voicemails from the Bears' crazy win over the Raiders.
Hello. Do you know who this is?
Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody.
The Hoge Jahns voicemail. The Hoge Jahns voicemail line.
Believe it or not, George isn't at home. Please leave a message at the beep.
Got any questions or comments about the Bears? Give the guys a call before, after, or even during the game.
Go Bears!
Hoge Jahns, it's Babs, Bob, it's Dabrowski, calling in here live from Las Vegas, the Sin City. Boys, we're going to sin all over the Raiders' faces today. And I hope that the Raiders are used to the desert heat out there in Las Vegas, because Caleb's arm brings the heat of 1,000 suns. Let's go, Chicago Bears. We're going to pull off the next 14 dubs, 15 in a row total, into the playoffs. Go Bears! Chicago Bear down! Let's go, Chicago Bear!
Hey, this is Chris. Really hoping this message does not age well, but at the end of the first quarter, I just got to ask, how in the world does Ben Johnson go from looking all-world offensive coordinator last week to just a scrub peewee guy this week? You have a backup right tackle in, and you're not even chipping Crosby. He is having his way with this offensive line. That should have been the main point of emphasis this week. I'm so disappointed. I hope it gets better. Bear down.
Does anyone know if Ryan Poles actually played offensive line, or did he just sign a bunch of guys that played like him, allegedly, in the NFL? This is a joke. Max Crosby's doing whatever he wants.
What the heck happened to Ben Johnson that knew how to design play calls? Let's run the ball again right up the gut, man. It seems to be working. Looking at the positive side of things, at least Chicago Bears clothing will be on clearance once again by October 1st. My name is Dan Roshar. I am the offensive line coach. I'm so smart, you bet listen to me. That guy Max Crosby, he's overrated. We ain't got to worry about him none.
Hey, Bears fans, B-Man's dad here. This first half is killing me. We got to get the offense going. I don't know what's going on. Killing my fantasy league. Go Bears. Bear down.
Hey guys, calling in at halftime. Saw Ozzie Capillo come in and fight. This team needs to fight in the second half. I need to see something. Some of these play calls, I don't know what they are. They need to figure it out too. A lot of time left.
Hi boys, it's the Mama Bear, and I do not have an answer for Mr. Crosby, but you know what? That's not my job. That is up to Ben and Dennis. So let's see if their brilliant football minds can get together and figure out how to shut him down in the second half. And then we still have hope to win the game. Then I just have to kind of mitigate my PTSD from the bye week from last week. And hopefully we'll pick off right where we left off last week. Bear down.
I'm really excited about the new Bears Stadium, the practice fields and all that stuff. And I'm just kind of curious, are they going to be able to afford any tackling dummies by any chance? But not sure. Just kind of seems like it might be something that might be just a little bit important. Just a little bit.
First and goal, 8:20 left in the fourth. I really wish we could run the ball and we could stop the run, but we can't all get what we want, can we? Go Bears.
Hey Bears fans, B-Man here. Let's take some knees for this win. Bear down!
I take back everything I said earlier. That was a floppy win, but it's a win. Wow. Go Bears.
Wisconsin Bears fan here, baby. That's how you do it. Fight to the end. It wasn't pretty, but it's a win. That's called a win streak. 2 in a row. Let's go. Enjoy the time in Vegas, boys.
Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. I love football. I love the Bears. I love you guys. I love my life. Woo, go Bears.
That was a roller coaster. Like I thought, like you would have thought they lost that game based on 90% of those voicemails until the very end. And it's like I take back everything I said.
Yes,
you could hear in those voicemails how much Max Crosby was controlling that game, and the frustration of like, is there any plan for this guy? But I think that's another thing that's underrated in this game. The adjustments that they made, including taking their left tackle off the field. But beyond that, I mean, Steven made a great point on CSGO Bears yesterday that Durham Smythe played a huge role in that game. The amount of times do you have the snap counts?
I got the snap counts. I was looking forward to Steven bringing this up. So Durham Smythe was on the field for 49% of the Bears' offensive snaps, so 33. Not only that, Stephen Carlson, 10 snaps, 15% of their offensive plays. Whereas Cole Kmet, wow, I didn't know this. He was on the field for all of their offensive plays yesterday, 68 out of 68.
Yeah, and I was talking to one of our fans here walking in, and I get it. I mean, fans are probably frustrated with Cole Kmet's game yesterday. He didn't have his best game. He had the false starts. He dropped that pass, which was huge in the first half. But I also said, I think if you go back and watch the film, there's probably plenty of examples of Cole Kmet coming up big in the second half, blocking and helping them solve that problem. I mean, before looking at the the stat sheet when the game was over, like, didn't it feel like Caleb Williams got sacked like 5 times?
But he
like
didn't.
It felt that way. But he only got sacked once.
Yeah.
So,
well, some of that's how elusive he is. There's some pressure there, but that's part of it too. Is they send those defensive ends wide. He's able to step up and shift himself a little bit, reset, and find those throwing lanes down the field.
Yep. All right. Well, I don't want to blow all the likes and dislikes, so we'll get to that here in a second. We do have to take our first time out. Don't go anywhere. We'll get to all of our likes and dislikes. Break down the rest of this game. The Bears' big win over the Raiders. It still sort of feels like it didn't happen, but it did, and we're here to talk about it. Don't go anywhere. But first,
All right, Adam.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's be real for a second. The world's gone
Yeah.
soft. Not
Yep.
Josh Blackwell, though. I mean, he went out for that.
The
Field goal
soft
block.
Raiders field goal.
Yeah, don't
unit.
hesitate on your snap. Don't
Yeah,
double
yeah,
pump.
yeah.
Don't do that. Soda used to have some kick. Now it's all about pretty colors and easy fizz. RC Cola is not a soft drink, just damn good cola. It's the original cola that doesn't fold under pressure, apparently like the Raiders.
The Raiders,
maybe?
yeah.
RG is an OG cola in the world of spineless soft drinks. No trends, no gimmicks, no glow up. RC hasn't changed its stripes since 1905 because it didn't need to. So do yourself a favor, grab some RC at your local store, stock up for all your end of summer parties, back to school celebrations, or just watching the next Bears game. RC is the move for whatever you're doing.
And our friends at Sunnyside Dispensary are here to elevate your football season. Sunnyside is your home for judgment-free shopping. They have a crazy selection with over 100 different strains to choose from, with easy online ordering and in-store pickup wherever you're at in Illinois. Sunnyside has a location for you. They have spots as far south as Champaign, as far north as South Beloit, near that Wisconsin border. They got you covered in the city, in Wrigleyville and River North. You can stop in the store nearest you for expert guidance from their staff, or you can just go online to sunnyside.shop for bright buys every day. Again, that's sunnyside.shop for bright buys every day, including 50% off, 50% off your first 3 online purchases. To get that, you need to enter promo code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. And for returning customers, if you've already used that and you're coming back, you can use code CHGO50. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Dispensary. Bright buys every day. Again, sunnyside.shop, only for 21 plus or Illinois medical card holders. All right. It is time, speaking of RC Cola, to get to our likes and dislikes, which we do on every Monday morning post-game edition of Hoge Jahns. And our likes and dislikes are always brought to you by RC Cola. RC Cola is not a soft drink, just damn good cola.
I'm going to start with a dislike. Let me just read you the stats. The Raiders had 240 rushing yards, 240. The Bears had 69. The Raiders averaged 7.7 rushing yards per play.
Wow.
The Bears were 5 yards less. 5 yards less at 2.7. I don't like that.
It is hard to win a game in the NFL with that. If you can't stop the run and you can't run the ball yourself,
any level of football, you have rushing stats like that, you're going to assume that the team that rushed for 240 yards and averaged 7.7 yards per carry ran over the other team and won in a blowout. That did not happen. Didn't happen.
Yeah, that's I mean, I like that they won despite that, but that's it is concerning, and I don't know what can really be done in the bye week. I mean, it's kind of been a theme. I mean, yesterday was the worst of it. There's no question, but they need to come up with some solutions.
Some of it felt like open field tackling on
Sure.
Ashton Genty, and like the story going into this game was, when's Ashton Genty going to break out? Why is he having such a slow start? How bad is the Raiders' offensive line? But in those one-on-one opportunities, one-on-two opportunities, there's Ashton Genty making some of the Bears' best defenders, Kevin Byard in the open field in a long touchdown run, Tremaine Edmonds near the goal line, like making those guys miss on those tackles. Like, that's a superstar running back there in the making.
Yeah. And here's a like I have that actually has to do with the Raiders. Did you see the stats on you know how he stands back there, where he's just standing upright? So someone managed to pull these stats yesterday that, like, I guess when he doesn't stand like that, his stats are horrible.
Just let him stand like that.
But when he's just standing there, upright, I think they're calling it the Michael Myers stance, right? Then he's like he looks all world. So, hey, look, man, I said it coming into this game. If you watch the Raiders, they were really struggling to run the ball through the first 3 games, but I didn't feel like it was Ashton Genty's fault. Like, he still looked good despite that. There wasn't a lot of room to run through. So, I think both can be true. I think the Bears obviously need to get better at stopping the run. There's no question. You read those stats, it's scary. But I also do think you got to give Ashton Genty a lot of credit. I think he was a big reason for that, because he looked really, really good.
Yeah. Any more dislikes?
Well, I do, but I want to keep it positive for a little bit.
Okay,
I mean,
go ahead.
the Bears did win this game, and I liked. If you look, here's one thing I really liked. Caleb Williams, look, he missed some throws in this game. The miss to the corner was certainly not great early on. The Bears could have been up 10-0. If you watch the touchdown throw to Rome Odunze, that was full on anticipation. I mean, Rome is not even into his break yet to come back across the middle when Caleb's going to throw that ball. And he threw it into
a tight window.
Just a tight window. That is a tight window throw with full-on anticipation, which he hasn't always had. He's had a little bit of anticipation at times, but that was full-on anticipation. And it was in a game where things weren't going great up until that point. The Bears really needed a spark like that. The defense gave them another spark by getting another interception for them, but then they took advantage. And that was the first time all game they really were able to do that.
I'm not sure if you missed it yesterday, but sitting right here, I shared the story sitting in the press box with Mark Carman.
Yeah.
He was complimentary of Caleb Williams.
I know.
On that
He
play.
gave him his game ball yesterday.
That's how good it was. That's trusting your footwork. What's trusting the play call, trusting your footwork, and trusting your receiver. You know he does. Like Rome Odunze is his guy. Like that is a matchup that is working. That is a relationship that is working. That is a pairing that is threatening to opposing defenses. And it's great to see their chemistry come through every single week in different ways right now.
Yeah. So that's probably the like that matters the most. That through 4 weeks, I think you zoom out and has it been perfect? No. But can we pretty much definitively say that Caleb Williams has taken a jump so far in this season? Absolutely. It is very, very positive. So, if we got to trade off the fact that they can't run the ball and they can't stop the run, fine. But, if you drew this up as ugly as the season started with those first 2 games, and a bad fourth quarter and then giving up 52 in Detroit, if you had said, hey, but they're going to be 2-2 at the bye, and it looks like this Caleb Williams, Ben Johnson thing is going to work, everybody signs up for that and takes that.
I mean, here's another positive for you. I like the way that Tyreek Stevenson is playing football right now.
Yeah, he stepped up the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's like similar to Kevin Byard, like struggled early on in the season.
Mm-hmm.
Past 2 games, he's been one of the Bears' best players in the secondary.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
That interception he had, I mean, it's talking about like selling out to make a play. I mean, that diving extension, full extension, heck of an athletic play there.
And they absolutely needed it at that time. Look, there's every coach is going to say next man up. You always hear that. And a lot of times you're going to have an injury like Jalen Johnson's injury. And it's just like, okay, come on. That guy's a blue chip player. You can say next man up all you want. But there are players that, hey, this isn't the third string guy down on the depth chart that was like an undrafted guy who's really here for special teams. This was a second round pick who's supposed to be a starter, who's supposed to be a dude. And so those are the guys that you can actually say, all right, well, it's possible that Tyreek Stevenson, we know how good he can be, that he steps up and really fills this void. And that's what the Bears need. But I was skeptical. I think most people were probably skeptical, especially coming out of that Detroit game.
Absolutely.
But he, through these last 2 weeks, he has done that. He has. I mean, I don't know if he's a full on number one corner. You're going to say that, but at least we're seeing a very talented player step up, make big plays, and he was moving around. They had him.
Yeah,
I think his interception came in the slot.
What I really like is hearing about all the prep work that he's putting in now. So this is 2 weeks in a row post game where he's talking about some film study things that he saw during his weekly preparations, during his extra work, that are coming to fruition on the field for him. Like that's a maturing football player who's understanding that everything that happens during the week, like that Wednesday practice, they always talk about, like that Wednesday afternoon on the field that Ben Johnson fully emphasizes and his staff fully emphasizes. He's having good days on Wednesdays. So on Sundays, you get games like this.
Yeah. And I think that comes back to the coaching and the culture and guys figuring out that you cannot let things slip through the cracks. And, sometimes that's what it takes. I mean, guys develop at different paces and different years, and sometimes it never happens. But you know what? A lot of times it matters where you're at and who your coaches are.
Yeah.
And so as much as, and that's Ben Johnson, sure, because he's the head coach, but it's these defensive coaches too. It's Al Harris having an impact because that was a very good hire that the Bears and Dennis Allen was able to make to come in. And so you're starting to see that I mean, there's some other guys we can pick out and be like, hey, like Jervon Dexter, like to see you take off a little bit more too.
Yeah.
But you'd certainly take what you've seen from Tyreek Stevenson, and you know what the storyline is. The next storyline is, right?
Yeah.
Well, they're going to Washington after the bye week.
Yeah.
And it's going to be on Monday Night Football, and we're going to see the Hail Mary 900 times leading up to the game and probably during the game. But it's also an opportunity for redemption for him. And if he can continue to keep what he's done the last 2 weeks, bring that to Washington on Monday Night Football, then that would be huge.
If he wants to hide at Hallis Hall and not be in the locker room during media availability, like I will completely understand that. Like, go ahead. I don't want to bring it up either. Like it's already it's an overdone storyline.
It is,
but it's going to be featured.
But I think it was overdone in training camp. Like every time he came to the podium, it's like, all right, how many times is this guy going to be asked about this? It's a little different though when they're going into this next game. And he's going back to Washington. Like, okay, now this can be a storyline. It's not a great storyline, but at least get why it's going to be asked a bunch. When it was being asked incessantly in the summer, I was like, come on.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
All right, so this next one, I want to hear what everybody's response is in yours.
Okay.
All right. It's down as a kind of like.
A kind of like.
A kind of like.
That's a new one.
I kind of like how number 79 and how number 75 played in the second half.
Yeah.
I think the film may show... Well, it's going to show some mistakes. It's going to show some Max Crosby highlights. But I think at the same time, I think the Bears might like what they saw Theo Bennett at left tackle and Ozzie Chapillo at right tackle, especially in the second half. Max Crosby's name was not mentioned, not nearly as much as it was in the first half in the second half. Like, he was still Max Crosby. Yes, they had a better plan for him, Durham Smythe and whatnot. But he wasn't the factor he was in the first half. And I think those tackles have something to do with it.
Yeah. And again, I'm going to give the coaches credit.
Sounds like they're not buying it out here.
No.
Yeah.
No. Well, I think it leads to a lot of interesting questions during the bye week, and the biggest question is, okay, is Darnell Wright going to be healthy to come back in 2 weeks? But then the next question is, if he is, is he your right tackle? Who's your left tackle?
Theo Bennett, Canadian Eagle.
That would be crazy.
And Ozzie Chapillo becomes your swing tackle, your jumbo.
But see, what's interesting to me about that is not like Theo was part of the problem early on in the game. So it's not like he had this amazing game when he had to go up against Max Crosby. That was what was super interesting to me about the switch they made, because they didn't take him out. They took Braxton Jones out, and they just put Theo at left. Well, maybe he's more comfortable at left tackle.
Watching it live on the field, you're like, oh, Ozzie Chapillo's in that. That's a big deal. Now you're looking on the sideline for Theo Bennett. Did he get hurt or whatnot? And there's number 70 holding his helmet.
Yeah.
Look back on the field. 79 is at left tackle. I think he played better on the left side. Obviously more comfortable there, probably since that competition that he went throughout training camp in the preseason. More reps have been taken there, but yeah, I think the film, especially in the first half, might be rough for Theo Bennett.
But based on what Ben said post game too, he was like, we knew that Ozzie was going to get some playing time today.
Yeah.
Now I don't know if that meant maybe the game plan was he was going to be the extra lineman they brought in, and some jumbo sets to help just contain Max Crosby. Like I don't necessarily know what that means, but they didn't hesitate to go with him, and I think he played pretty well. So that's got to be pretty tempting if you're Ryan Poles and Ben Johnson to play this second round pick that you wanted to. I think they wanted him to win the left tackle competition back in the summer.
If you're Ryan Poles and watching this right now, like you like that Ozzie Chapillo's back in the conversation. You like that he saw the field, and you like that he contributed to a win.
Well, and the reason why I bring this up, and will continue to probably over the bye week, is because Ben Johnson told us this in the summer. He said, hey, look, this might be something we have to revisit after 4 games at the bye week. So I think, and so far he's been pretty true to everything he says. So, and it hasn't been perfect at left tackle. So it'll be interesting. They're still they're going to practice tomorrow and Wednesday.
How about that?
It sounds like. I like that, by the way.
Yeah.
There was a lot of talk that maybe if they win the game, Ben Johnson would, all right, you guys are off for the week. No, they're still practicing.
They have stuff to work on.
Yeah, they got stuff to work on.
Yeah.
Dude, this is professional football. Get out there. Yeah, I like that. Now they're mandated to be off Thursday through Sunday, so they will be. but it's optional to have these guys practice for a couple days before that. And I like that they're practicing.
Do you have any notable likes or dislikes before I had some more?
Well, I don't like that. So here's the thing. It was different for me to be in the stands yesterday. Usually I have a full-on notebook I would have in front of me, like filled to the brim with notes. And obviously I didn't have, so I have notes on my phone, going full karma. I don't like how negative my notes are. Like I'm going back through them, but that was like, I don't like that the plays where they had DJ Moore and Roma Dunze out, like those didn't work yesterday for the most part.
Yeah.
I think they did get a key run late in the game where that did work, where they were a little bit heavier package. But this is Max Crosby wrecking the game. Everybody saw that. 2 takeaways only led to 3 points. And I even put in here, this is early on in the game, I go, does this cost them the game? As a question. And then that actually ended up having 3 takeaways and only 6 points at one point. However, like you want to start spinning this stuff positively. Eventually, they did have that moment where Tyreek Stevenson start the third quarter with an interception, and then Caleb and Rome take advantage of it, and they do get the touchdown. So wasn't perfect, but they turned the tide on a lot of these negative things early on in the game.
I like that the Bears were willing to share information to us, to fans about the block punt. Like they don't have to reveal like it was a tell they picked up on film, but I like the confidence and the willingness to share that information. They're not playing the Raiders again. And you know what? If you're the special teams coordinator, you should have picked up on that tell yourself for the Raiders, right?
Yeah, I mean, but this is the great thing about football. There's a little tiny thing like that can decide a football game. And by the way, it continued league wide yesterday. The block kicks and these weird special teams plays. It's been wild. It's been wild. And just the fact that Richard Hightower, we were talking to him on Thursday about that.
Yeah.
And
Pat Manley last week about that.
Yeah, on our show. You're right.
It's a combination of the scouting, but also the effort in those moments to go get that football when that moment arises.
Well, and I do think that gets back to what I was talking about earlier. I think that there's that want to, right? That want to, you start seeing kicks being blocked around the league, and you're like, oh, okay, well, like we need to go do that. And I think it picks up the effort level. And I wonder, it's not like all of a sudden these teams forgot how to block. Like there's something going on here. I think there's some of this momentum where, we hear from Hightower every week about how they break down every play across the league, any notable special teams play, and then they show them in the meeting. So all of these teams are seeing these other teams block kicks. And I think that they're all like, okay, well, we should do that. We can do that. And I think that that's kind of why it's been contagious through 4 weeks.
Well, don't forget last year, it was who blocked the 2 field goals against the Packers, right?
Well, the Packers, but the Vikings got them too the following week. Yeah.
So it was them relaying the information that they had a read or a tell on Cairo Santos, on the trajectory of his kick.
Right.
And they're the ones sharing that story. I like when these football stories are shared. I like encourage players to do that because I think it lets us as the writers and lets everybody hear, the fans, into what they do, into the jobs that everybody loves watching.
Yeah. I see we have a super chat from Zero Demon, $10. It says second half TD, punt, field goal TD. Nice to have coaches who can make adjustments. It's a great point, Zero Demon. Like the second half possessions, when you put it that way, touchdown, punt, field goal, touchdown, that they didn't flinch at halftime at all. And that's what good teams do. It was ugly in the first half, but you saw Ben Johnson's demeanor coming out at halftime with that halftime interview.
Yeah.
He did. They were dialed in. They're like, we're fine. And they were only down 5 points at halftime. It felt like worse, but it
felt worse because, like you said, they weren't capitalizing on the takeaways that they had.
Right.
They had a takeaway, or they gave up a takeaway too. Want to read one more from Kevin here?
Sure.
In the offseason, from Kevin J, $10. In the offseason, BJ marked the bye week is an important time to see what this team is. I'm interested in seeing how they adjust the run, offense, defense, beyond getting some players back.
Yeah. Getting players back would be great. That would definitely help. It was obviously a good sign that Kyler Gordon popped up on the injury report in a positive way Friday as, hey, he might actually play. Now, he didn't, and I didn't think he would. But just to return to practice and be listed as questionable was a step in the right direction. You would think that that's a pretty good sign that coming out of the bye, you're going to get Kyler Gordon back. As far as TJ Edwards, he hasn't made that step yet, but they also never put him on IR. So that's an indication that they were at least hoping he could be back for the Washington.
You know, I saw TJ. So for the first time in a long time, I saw TJ Edwards in the locker room.
On Friday?
No, not Friday.
Oh, on Thursday.
No, yesterday.
Oh, yesterday.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
He was there. So it's a good thing that he's traveling. Here's a fun story for you. So I'm traveling here Sunday morning, and a Hoge Jahns listener comes up to me. Rich, shout out to Rich, who's here for a packaging conference, but he was going to try to come by today. I'm sure he's working, though. But he was a neighbor of TJ Edwards in Lake Villa growing up. So he knows their family really well. We talked about that on the plane. Like, how about this? He says hi to me getting onto the plane. And then where does this seat? Right next to mine.
So, really?
Yeah. So he talked to me. He said he made sure to say he wanted me to say hello to you. But TJ Edwards seems like it's always good when you see the players when they're present.
Yeah.
And they're not, staying back, not traveling. So I think that could be hopefully a positive step in the right direction for him.
But it is a good super chat from Kevin because, we're seeing a coaching staff that is showing an ability to make adjustments. Like, it's not just talk. They're doing it in game. And so you got to believe that there's an ability here during the bye week to look at, hey, what can they do? Getting players back is good. I'm sure Ryan Poles and the scouting staff in the front office is going to start having some conversations about whether or not it's smart to potentially make a trade for somebody. I think we're not quite to that point, but I think that as a staff, you probably have some serious conversations about that during the bye, about where this team is, where it's going. Do you want to start shedding draft capital right now for a short-term game? I don't know. We're not quite to that point, but those are the types of conversations I think you have during this bye week. And then a lot of it's just scheme and personnel. What we were just talking about with the tackles. It's not just about pass protection. The pass protection matters, obviously. But you got 2 games against Micah Parsons coming up this season too. So we're going to have games that look like yesterday where you have somebody that talented like Max Crosby who can completely wreck a game. So I don't want to minimize or overlook what those adjustments were, like how important that is, because we've covered the Bears for so long where they're just unable to make adjustments like that, both personnel
or their adjustments are worse.
Yeah, or the adjustments are worse. So it'll be interesting to see what they do during the bye.
So I think you brought this up last night at dinner, just in terms of like Ruben Hippolyte not playing. So looking at the snap counts now that they're official, he was only on the field 5 special teams.
0 defense. That's what it felt like. Okay.
So Nick McLeod, your nickelback, who was playing in place of Kyler Gordon, he was on the field for 96% of the defensive snaps. So, I'm guessing that.
How many did Daniel Hardy play defense?
I'm looking right now.
No defensive. So they basically played without a Sam linebacker yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. They did, and it felt that way when you're watching it. So, but that's not an excuse, but that sort of also explains the not being able to stop the run. Because they were basically, the Raiders got in a situation where they could just load up and run the football on you, and you had no answer from a personnel standpoint. That's where you usually add a linebacker to the field.
Yeah.
And that's a situation where if you are stuck in that spot, Kyler Gordon could have helped a lot too, and he's not out there. So as ugly as that was, there's some signs there that if they can get some of these guys healthy, it probably won't be that bad. It's still a concern, and I don't know all the answers here, but it probably won't be that bad going forward if they can get healthier.
I got one from Zero Demon here, $10. Rewatched the last drive. Caleb was huge, but I thought Pillow, Giant Johns, also did a great job holding his own.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was trying to take note of how many times, maybe you could do this for your film review, buddy. How many times Theo Benedict and Ozzie Chapillo had one-on-one matchups versus Max Crosby. It was more than I thought they would have. They had a few, and some of them they won.
Well, I hope so. You got to win some of them.
Yeah.
You got to win some of them, even if you're going up against Max Crosby. Yeah, I think the film will show. It'll show a lot of help being brought over there, especially in the second half. Durham Smythe's, snap count reveals some of that too. But yeah, you can't help the entire time and run your full offense. There's your playbook shrinks quite a bit if you're put in that spot. And we've heard Ben Johnson say he doesn't want to be in that position as a play caller. So
Caleb Williams described Max Crosby. Did you pick this up yesterday? Like, as the best player that he's faced thus far in his career. And in that moment, I was trying to go through all the matchups, but I think he's just. I think he's right.
I think he's right. Yeah, Max Crosby, he's actually underrated somehow. As good as he is, and the credit, because he's still like he is unbelievable, and the way he plays with his motor. I'm actually still sitting here in the morning, like shocked that he didn't do more in the second half with how that game started. And the interception was incredible to be able to block it, get up there and make the interception too. He's just a really good player. I agree with Caleb on that.
I like going through a few of my final notes here. I like the energy in the locker room, just that you're starting to see just the way how contagious Ben Johnson's energy happens to be. Like, with all due respect to Matt Eberflus, he didn't have that type of charisma to him where you see the eyes locked in. You see the players like literally taking steps closer and closer and closer to him as he's breaking down the team. Like, I find that very Matt Nagy-like, but we all can agree that I think Ben Johnson brings more to the table in terms of offensive play calling, offensive expertise. Like, Nagy had his booms, but the charisma that Ben Johnson is showing. And like, I like learning more about the guy. So you see that in the post-game locker room. You see that in the sidelines. You see all these clips of him and the way he's acting on the sideline, like his eyes wide a little bit. Like he's
intense.
He's intense. Yeah. I like learning more about that.
A couple more supers before we get out of here. I see Giuseppe's in here with $2 super chat. No luck. Fight to the end.
Girl fight.
I don't know what that's supposed to say, but fight to the end. 18 clutch at the end. He sure was. And then another one from Giuseppe, $5. I am sober, but I was so high off that Bears win yesterday. I even texted my ex about the win. LOL. Let's effing go. 18 was clutch. Great game in my hometown. That's awesome. And then did we get all these ones? We got Daniel
Trump.
Daniel in here, $10. Can Benedette permanently play left tackle and Trapillo permanently play right tackle? Thanks. Well, I don't think they're giving up on Darnell Wright.
No,
nor
yet.
should they, because I think that was another thing we learned yesterday, that they missed Darnell Wright quite a bit. So I think the question is Darnell Wright in the pit? Do they consider moving him to the left side? I don't. That sounds risky, but maybe.
Yeah. What did not Matt Nagy? Wow. What did Ben Johnson describe him as? A unicorn?
Yeah.
Just in terms of what he could do physically.
Well, he needs to clean up the penalties, but I think you saw, at least just from a blocking standpoint, they did miss him. And he's been pretty good in the run game, so they missed him there as well. Zero Demon has a trade prediction. Oh, he'll go to Papa Hoge. $5. Hello, boys. Hello, chat. Bears win. Wish I was there. Bear down. Yeah, he wanted to be here this weekend. My parents used to come to Vegas all the time, too, so I think he was.
A couple other reporters brought their dads out, right? Mr. Finley was here. Yeah. Mr. Leisure.
Yeah. I like how you called him Mr. Finley and Mr. Leisure. And then Zero Demon at $10 has a trade prediction. If the Texans keep losing, I think Poles trades for Nick Chubb. He's only signed for a 1-year contract with the Texans. That would be interesting. They made a trade this morning. They sent Cam Robinson to the Browns. So we won't talk about why Cam Robinson was expendable. Ariante Ursary, available in the second round. But he's been pretty good. So I think we got through all the supers there, didn't we?
I think we're good.
I think so. Hey, thank you guys for waking up and being here in person today. I think everybody's feeling it a little bit this morning. You can hear it in my voice, although we've been like talking constantly since we got here on Friday, whether it's on the shows or off the show. So we appreciate you all being out here. You, as I always say to you guys, man, you deserve better. You deserve a play like yesterday where it goes the Bears' way finally, because we're all sitting there. We're like, well, we know how this goes, and it's not going to be good. And I'm like, can one time this go the Bears' way, because it should. But I also always say you create your own luck, and I don't really think that was luck. I think that was a really well executed play from top to bottom with good scouting, good execution, and they got it done. So it's a sign of things headed in the right direction, I think, for the Chicago Bears.
My last I like that they're 2-2 heading into the bye week. Yeah, feels a lot better than 1-3.
A lot better. It's a big difference. And to keep up in this division, you needed that. Meanwhile, the Vikings lose. They're 2-2. The Packers have that hilarious tie last night. I've never seen a tie feel more like a win for one team and a loss for the other, when really it just counts the same. But it felt that way, didn't? I mean, like Jerry Jones was like probably like, well, that's why I traded Micah, and we got the W tonight. No, you didn't, Jerry. It was a tie. Now we got the win. I'm sure that's
he
just
was
like,
really talking up Dak after that game.
Yeah, like, Dak played awesome.
Yeah,
there were some. We were able to watch the fourth quarter at dinner last night, and they made some incredible plays.
But Dak did not play awesome against the Bears.
No. He did not, and I think that offense is legit. So it's still, like I said earlier, I think that adds credence to what the Bears were able to do defensively a week ago at Soldier Field. Unfortunately, the Lions look great, and they're 3-1. So that's what I mean by keeping up. But the Bears are right in this thing, and it's the toughest division in football right now. So to your point of getting a 2-2, it really matters.
It's easier to go through the film today. It's easier to tell the players that they're practicing on Tuesday and Wednesday before the bye week when you're 2-2. Like, the corrections feel better with that win.
Yeah. We will be back on Wednesday too before we take our little mini bye over the weekend. We will have an episode on Wednesday, just 2 episodes this week because it is the bye week. And then we'll be back next week with, your usual 3 going into a Monday night. It's going to feel like a long break, though. That one extra day on the back end, playing on Monday night, but the Bears need it. They need a lot of rest. I don't particularly love a bye this early in the season, but it's weird how it works out. It actually feels like it's good timing for them to get some momentum. A lot of times you don't like going into a bye off a win anyway. But the way they won yesterday, it's like, okay, got a lot to correct, got to get healthy. This comes at a good time. And there's going to be a lot of storylines going into Washington, obviously. They're going to be a team that wants revenge. However, this coaching staff wasn't here last year. So it'll be interesting to see how that all sorts itself out leading up to that game.
Yeah, well, I could see Pat Finley already asking, our good friend Pat Finley, asking Ben Johnson about this game. And he's going to be like,
I wasn't here.
Give him the sideline eyes where he stares him down. I wasn't here last year. Can we move on?
Yeah, there's a 100% chance that happens. Yeah. And it's Pat asking the question. All right, so we'll be back on Wednesday. Kevin Clark is going to join us.
Yes,
from Omaha and ESPN. He's a great dude. Love having him on. So he's going to join us. We'll have a little bit of we'll zoom out. We'll get some national perspective on the team on Wednesday, and then we will head into our bye as well. Appreciate you watching, listening. Please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button if you're watching live here on YouTube. And if you're listening to the podcast, please rate and review. Appreciate it. Merch is all up. Go to allchgo.com for all of John's coverage from yesterday. You can make sure you read his column, become a diehard. Somebody, you were brand new diehard right here. Anyone else just sign up and be a diehard? He said he just found our content, and here he is, hanging out with us this morning. Appreciate you guys all being here. We really do appreciate it. And if you're sticking around, make sure you hang out with us 9:30, a little bit of a different time for us because we all got a flight to catch. Well, you don't. You're staying here another day.
Me and Braggs, baby.
He's staying here all week. So is Steven. I don't think they realize you're not supposed to stay in Vegas for a whole week.
Well, the first part was work.
Like, I'm ready to go home. I'm like, I did my Vegas weekend. You can hear it in my voice. We had a lot of fun, though. And CHGO Bears is coming up at 9:30. Lance Briggs is going to be here, so we got a lot more coverage before we get on that home. Don't go anywhere. Appreciate you.
See you, everyone. See ya.
We all silly like the mayor.